Good evening. Tonight, we're traveling to Kyoto, Japan, to a place where 10,000 vermilion gates line a mountain path, where fox statues with hollow eyes watch every visitor who climbs the stone steps, where something ancient has been waiting for centuries beneath those sacred torii gates. This is the story of a woman who visited Fushimi Inari Shrine in October 2022, who made the mistake of climbing the mountain alone after sunset, who encountered something at the summit that followed her all the way back to Tokyo, something that, according to Japanese folklore, has possessed humans for over 1,000 years. The Japanese call it kitsunetsuki, fox possession, and for centuries it was documented as a genuine medical condition in rural villages, treated by priests, recorded by psychiatrists, feared by entire communities. What happened to Yuki Nakamura fits every historical symptom, but the question remains: was she suffering from a mental disorder, or did something attach itself to her on that mountain? Let's examine the evidence. Yuki Nakamura was 32 years old, a graphic designer living in Tokyo's Shibuya district. She'd visited Kyoto for a work conference in early October 2022. On her final evening, October 9th, she decided to visit Fushimi Inari Shrine. She'd been there before, years earlier, but only during daylight hours, when the paths were crowded with tourists. This time, she wanted to experience it differently, quietly. She arrived at 6:47 p.m., just as the sun was setting. The last tourists were descending the mountain. Staff were preparing to close the main shrine buildings, but the mountain trail itself stays open. You can climb it anytime, day or night. Yuki began her ascent at 7:03 p.m. She posted a photo on Instagram. The timestamp is verified. In the image, you can see the first 1,000 torii gates stretching upward into shadow. The caption reads, "Finally alone here. It feels different after dark." That was her last social media post. Fushimi Inari Shrine was established in 711 AD. It's dedicated to Inari Okami, the Shinto deity of rice, prosperity, and foxes. But the foxes aren't just symbols. They're considered messengers, divine spirits called Kitsune, white foxes with supernatural abilities, shapeshifters, tricksters, beings that exist between the physical and spirit world. Traditional belief holds that Kitsune grow more powerful with age. Every 100 years, they gain another tail. A 9-tailed fox, called Kubino Kitsune, has lived for 900 years and possesses godlike powers. The most famous is Tamamo no Mae, who disguised herself as a beautiful courtesan in the 12th century and attempted to kill Emperor Toba. When discovered, she was hunted and killed. Her spirit was sealed inside a volcanic rock called the Seisho Seki, the killing stone. That stone split open in March 2022, 6 months before Yuki's visit. The national news reported it. Social media exploded with speculation. Had Tamamo no Mae's spirit been released? Scientists explained it was natural weathering, but locals near the stone reported increased fox sightings, strange lights at night, the smell of incense where no temples existed. Yuki knew none of this when she climbed the mountain. She was simply a tourist looking for a peaceful evening walk. According to her later testimony, Yuki reached the summit around 8:20 p.m. The trail is 4 kilometers long. Most people take 2 hours. She walked faster, alone in the darkness. At the summit shrine, she stopped to catch her breath. That's when she noticed the fox. It was sitting 10 meters away, perfectly still, watching her. Pure white fur. unusual. Japanese foxes are typically reddish-brown. White foxes are extremely rare. In folklore, they're Inari's messengers. Sacred. Some say divine. Yuki took out her phone to photograph it, but as she raised the camera, the fox stood and walked toward her. Not aggressively, just walking. Deliberately. She lowered the phone. The fox stopped 3 meters away. It sat again and stared. Yuki describes its eyes as wrong. Too aware. She told investigators later. It was looking at me the way a person looks at you. Like it was thinking, deciding something. She felt suddenly cold. The temperature hadn't dropped, but her skin prickled. Her breath became visible. She decided to leave. She turned and started back down the trail. When she glanced back, the fox was following her, maintaining distance, 10 meters behind, walking when she walked, stopping when she stopped. This continued for half an hour. All the way down the mountain, Yuki tried to run. The fox ran. She stopped. It stopped. She called out in Japanese, "Go away. Leave me alone." The fox tilted its head, like it understood. By the time she reached the bottom, around 9:10 p.m., she was crying. She ran to the parking lot. The fox didn't follow past the main shrine gate. It sat at the boundary, watching. Yuki got into her rental car and drove straight to her hotel. She thought it was over. It wasn't. That night, in her hotel room, Yuki couldn't sleep. Now she felt watched. The room was on the 11th floor, windows closed, door locked, but the sensation remained. Constant, pressing. At 2:34 a.m., she woke to a sound, scratching against the window. She turned on the light. Nothing there. But on the glass, fogged from her breath, were marks. 4 lines, like claw marks drawn from outside. She checked out early the next morning, drove back to Tokyo, hoped distance would help. But the symptoms intensified. She started forgetting things, appointments, conversations. She'd find herself in locations with no memory of how she got there. Once, she woke up in Ueno Park at dawn, 5 kilometers from her apartment, wearing only pajamas. She had no recollection of leaving her building. Her behavior changed. Colleagues noticed. She became aggressive in meetings, said inappropriate things with no awareness afterward. Her diet shifted. She craved raw fish, raw meat. She'd order sashimi and eat it so quickly she'd choke. Her roommate found her in the kitchen at 3 a.m., eating raw chicken directly from the package. When confronted, Yuki laughed, but her roommate said it wasn't Yuki's laugh. It was higher pitched, almost like chittering. Her reflection began to change. On October 23rd, 2 weeks after the shrine visit, Yuki's mother came to Tokyo to check on her. She found Yuki in the bathroom, staring into the mirror. She wasn't moving, her mother testified later, just staring. When I touched her shoulder, she turned and I saw her face. Her eyes were wrong. The pupils were elongated, like a cat's or a fox's. Yuki spoke in a voice that wasn't hers. "She's not here anymore," the voice said. "She invited me. She looked at me. She called to me. Now I'm staying." Her mother called the police. Yuki was taken to Shinjuku Mental Health Center. Psychiatric evaluation diagnosed her with dissociative identity disorder and possible schizophrenia. She was prescribed antipsychotics, but medication didn't help. The episodes continued. Staff reported finding her on all fours, moving through hallways in the middle of the night. Security footage shows her approaching other patients and sniffing them, literally pressing her nose to their skin and inhaling deeply. One nurse, who'd grown up in rural Shimane Prefecture, recognized the behavior. She'd seen it before in her grandmother's village. She suggested an alternative diagnosis: kitsunetsuki, fox possession. Fox possession has been documented in Japan for over 1,000 years. It appears in the Nihon Ryuiki, written in 822 AD, in Heian period texts, in Edo period medical records. In 1951, a psychiatric survey in southwestern Japan documented dozens of active cases in rural villages. Symptoms included personality changes, memory loss, craving for raw food, animalistic behavior, and physical changes like yellowed eyes or sharper teeth. Some researchers dismissed it as culture-bound psychosis, a way for traditional communities to explain mental illness, but others noted the consistency. Across centuries, across regions with no contact, the symptoms were identical, and treatment methods, when successful, were always the same. Shinto exorcism performed by trained priests, often at Inari shrines, using rituals specifically designed to appease or expel fox spirits. Yuki's family, desperate, contacted a Shinto priest, not a hospital chaplain, a traditional kanushi who specialized in spirit-related afflictions. He visited Yuki at the hospital on November the 2nd. He performed a diagnostic ritual involving rice, sake, and chanted prayers. Afterward, he told the family, "There's something attached to her. It entered through invitation. She must return to where it came from and ask it to leave." On November 7th, Yuki was released to her family's care for a day trip. They took her to Fushimi Inari Shrine. They arrived at 2 p.m. The priest performed a purification ritual at the main hall. Then he led Yuki up the mountain. Her mother and brother followed. Halfway up, Yuki began resisting. "It doesn't want to go," she said in that wrong voice. "It likes being warm, being fed, being inside." The priest continued. At the summit, he placed offerings: rice, fried tofu, and sake. Fox spirits, according to tradition, love fried tofu. He chanted specific prayers. Yuki collapsed. She convulsed for 90 seconds. Then she went still. When she opened her eyes, her mother said they looked normal again. Human. Yuki began crying. "What happened to me?" she asked. She remembered almost nothing from the past month. Fragments, sensations, hunger, but no clear memories. She recalled seeing the white fox on October 9th, then mostly darkness. "It was like," she said later, "I was pushed into a corner of my own head, watching through a foggy window while something else controlled my body." The priest said the spirit had been expelled, but he warned her, "Never climb this mountain alone again. Never look directly into a fox's eyes, and never, ever invite it to follow you, even silently, even by accident. They're listening." Yuki returned to Tokyo. Over the following weeks, her symptoms disappeared. Her memory returned. Her behavior normalized. She went back to work in January 2023, but she refuses to discuss the incident publicly. She deleted her social media, moved to a different apartment, and according to friends, she avoids anything connected to foxes, images, stories, even the fox emoji. Her psychiatrist maintains the diagnosis of brief psychotic episode triggered by stress. The Shinto priest maintains it was kitsunetsuki. And Yuki herself? She wrote one thing in her private journal, shown to investigators. "I don't know what it was, but when I looked in the mirror during those weeks, it wasn't me looking back. It was something else, something that smiled too wide. And when I finally came back, I felt it leave, like a weight lifting, like a presence that had been crouched inside my chest, breathing with my lungs, finally decided to go." Fushimi Inari Shrine remains one of Kyoto's most visited locations. Millions come every year. Most experience nothing unusual. They take photos of the torii gates. They climb the mountain. They admire the fox statues, and they leave safely. But staff members report incidents. Tourists who claim they were followed. People found wandering the mountain at dawn with no memory of the night. Strange lights between the trees. The sound of something moving on four legs through the bamboo forest. And occasionally, visitors report seeing a white fox near the summit. Always alone, always watching, waiting for someone to make eye contact, waiting for someone to invite it, even unintentionally, into their life. In Japanese folklore, kitsune aren't inherently evil. They're tricksters, shapeshifters, creatures of threshold and transformation. They can bring fortune or misfortune, protection or possession. It depends on how you treat them, what you offer, what you take. But one rule remains consistent across every story, every warning, every documented case of kitsunetsuki. If you see a white fox alone in a sacred place, do not look it in the eyes. Do not call to it. Do not photograph it. And if it follows you, do not let it into your home. Because once invited, a fox spirit rarely leaves without taking something with it. Your memory, your will, sometimes your very self. What do you think happened to Yuki Nakamura? Was this a psychological break brought on by stress and isolation? Or did something ancient find its way inside her on a dark mountain path? The fox is still there, at Fushimi Inari. Staff have seen it. Tourists photograph it, though the images never come out clearly. Just white blurs in the darkness. Just eyes reflecting camera flashes. Just the suggestion of something watching from between the torii gates. If you visit Fushimi Inari, climb during daylight, stay on the main paths, and if you see a white fox watching you from the shadows, turn around, walk away, don't look back. Some invitations, once extended, can never be revoked. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true ghost stories from across Asia.